Here on my channel, I like answering questions no one has ever really asked, but I wanted to find the answer to anyway. And today, something caught my attention. You see, since Genshin first came out, there have always been 5 weapon types: swords, claymores, polearms, catalysts, and bows. And as Genshin's roster has expanded over many years, the amount of weapon types has remained the same, but the amount of characters using each weapon type has obviously increased. And it got me wondering, which of the currently playable regions in 4.4 has the most and least of each weapon type? So I got to researching and this is what I found. Looking at all the sword users, I found that so far, and maybe unfairly since I'm making this video in 4.4, Fontaine has the least amount of sword users at 2 with Lynette and Farina. Coming in a tied second last is Sumeru and Liwei, each with 3 sword users. Liwei having Keqing, Qiqi, and Xingqiu, and Sumeru having Alhaitham, Nilou, and Layla. Coming in second place is Mondstadt with 4 sword users being Albedo, Jean, Bennett, and Kaya, and in first place is Inazuma with 5 sword users, Kazuha, Ayaka, Ayato, Kawara, and Kuki. After determining that Inazuma had the most sword users, I then moved on to Claymores. And well, to first answer who has the least, we need to look to Fontaine and Inazuma, who both only have 2 Claymore users each, with Ito and Sayu, and Navia and Fremine. Coming in just after them is Sumeru, which has 3 Claymore users in Dea, Dori, and Kaveh. And coming in at a tied first place, both Mondstadt and Liwei each have 4 Claymore users, Mondstadt having Diluc, Eula, Noel, and Razor, and Liwei having Fido, Chongyun, Gaming, and Xinyan. After that, I then looked at the polearms, and starting off with the region with the least polearm users, Fontaine, unfortunately again, comes in last place, with only Chevreuse being a polearm user. Now, 3 regions tie for second place as Mondstadt, Inazuma, and Sumeru each have 2 polearm users each. Mondstadt having Mika and Rosaria, Inazuma having Raiden and Toma, and Sumeru having Sino and Candace. Now, so far we have seen a generally decent spread of weapons across the regions. However, when it came to polearms, I have no clue what Hoyoverse is doing, because Liwei has a whopping 7 characters wielding polearms. We have Hu Tao, Shenhe, Zhao, Zhongli, Zhongling, Yao Yao, and Yunjin, making it not only the most popular weapon type in Liwei, but the most used weapon type in any of the regions. It's insane. Anyways, moving on to catalysts.
Hey, if you're watching this video right now, chances are you are not subscribed, because 100% of people that watch this channel are not subscribed. Subscribe now.
Now, I found that Sumeru has the least amount of catalyst users, with only Nahida and Wanderer wielding them. Inazuma and Fontaine each have 3 catalyst users, being Kokomi, Yaemiko, and Heizo from Inazuma, and Neuvillette, Risley, and Charlotte coming from Fontaine. Liwei has 4 catalyst users, being Baizhu, Jianyun, Ningguang, and Yanfei, but in the top spot again is Mondstadt with 5 catalyst users, the 5 being Klee, Mona, Barbara, Lisa, and Sucrose. And finally, there are the bows, and before I start, I wanted to quickly shout out my Ginger King child, who comes from Snezhnaya and is a bow user, which would technically make Snezhnaya the nation with the least amount of bow users if it was playable, and if Linny didn't exist as the only bow user from Fontaine. Next on the list is Liwei with only 2 bow users, being Yelan and Ganyu, and then there is Sumeru and Inazuma, each with 3, those being Tognari, Kole, and Faruzan from Sumeru, and then Yoimiya, Goro, and Kujosara from Inazuma. Then once more, of course, sitting at the very top again, is Mondstadt with 4 bow users, Venti, Amber, Diona, and Keqing. So, to recap, currently Inazuma has the most sword characters, Mondstadt and Liwei have the most claymore users, Liwei by far has the most polearm users, and Mondstadt has both the most catalyst and bow users. Now, what can you do with all this info? Nothing really. Like I said, I like answering questions no one has ever really asked, but I wanted to find the answer to anyway.